Hello everybody, this is Manu S and welcome back to another Eternal News episode with the latest Defiance mechanic spoiler reveal article. So let's take a look. The second ability that we got revealed is called Renown. By the time I'm recording this, we just got the third one. I'll try and go over that tomorrow, but first let's take a look at Renown. Okay, so Renown means does something the first time you play a spell or weapon directly on it. So, for example, Oni Forgemaster is a 2-cost 2/2. If you play a spell or a weapon on it, you get to draw a +2/+1 weapon. I would assume the weapon costs 1. We don't know that yet, but that would be my guess, which actually makes it pretty decent as a 2-drop, even in constructed potentially. Like you can use a combat trick or a long barrel or katana or something on it, and then also use the weapon. So effectively turning it into a 2-drop that you can then for 1 mana sort of upgrade into a 4/3, which is pretty nice. Main problem is that in, say, Skycrack, for example, you first of all have a lot of good 2-drops. Second of all, the spell most likely be played on it is Pummel, and Pummel only works during combat. So you will have to upgrade it post-combat on turn 3, which is kind of awkward. But yeah, all in all, the card is not terrible and could be interesting in, like, I don't know, Stone Scar or Arcano maybe, if that could be a deck again. We will have to see. And in Limited, this seems like a really strong card, potentially. Next we have Ania, Arctic Sheriff, the Horo double influence pledge card. Seems like there's one in each of the alliances. The Horo one is double green, double blue, 5. It's a 4/3. On summon, she stuns an enemy unit, and the unit stays stunned while you have Ania in play, similar to like Sprite, for example, or Daraka. And for Renown, she gets +2/+2 in Aegis, which is pretty strong. So usually I guess you would want to play her on like turn 6 with a Finest Hour or something open. And then you can just like Finest Hour her, and then she turns into a 6/5 with Aegis. Weapons are more problematic here, since, I mean, what weapons do you really want to run? Like the Feather or what it's called, like +1/+0 and flying for 1 with this on turn 6 seems okay, but then you would have to need that card in your deck. I think the card seems like it could be a bit too fragile and clunky. The fact that if you just play it naked on turn 5, the opponent can even torch it, or just worse and more likely, they just Rizza on it next turn. And having it to live for a turn to be good seems problematic, but there is a lot of cool things going on, so we'll have to wait and see. The fact that she's a gunslinger is a bit awkward, because in Horo you usually don't get enough gunslingers to care about her unit type, so her unit type is kind of ignorable. But yeah, the pledge alone is pretty good together with the rest, so the card at least will be messed around with and constructed, but I'm not 100% sure how good she's gonna be and if she's gonna find a home or not. Next we have Notorious Scoundrel. That's kind of a cool and interesting one. It's pretty high risk, high reward. It's a 2-cost 2/1, which is obviously very fragile, but when you play something on it, it gets a +4/+2 weapon directly on it, so it turns into a 6/3 or 2, but it also gets a wanted poster, so your opponent gets to draw 2 cards if they kill it, which is very dangerous. Like if they kill it 1/1, it's like a 3/1, which is devastating. But maybe some hyper-aggressive deck can make good enough use of it so that the opponent cannot really fully take advantage of the extra cards. So the extra cards only mean extra options, not more resources, because the game will end before resources are used up, cards in hand and stuff. And it is a gunslinger, which helps. So yeah, we'll see. It's kind of interesting, but probably a bit too risky and fragile to work out in the end. Next we have Glacier Shaper. It's a 2/4, not a relevant unit type. Renown, play a Glacial Monstrosity with attack and health equal to the cost of the spell or weapon, and Overwhelm. So yeah, you basically get like a random beast. Let's say you play a 3-cost weapon on it, then you get a 3/3 Overwhelm. Not terrible, but probably not great in constructed. You would need to play some really expensive weapons or spells on this that are really worth it. Like, I don't know, a 4-cost weapon the turn after, giving you a 4/4. I don't know, maybe there's a deck that kinda wants her, because 2/4 makes her decently durable on 2. The thing is, you get the monstrosity a turn later, so it will take till turn 5 that it can finally attack, which is a bit slow, but we'll see. Maybe it has a shot in constructed, but in limited this seems really strong. Yeah, this definitely seems like a very good uncommon in limited. Next we have Chunk Chunk, the next guy in the Pledge Double Influence Alliance cycle. This one is the Skycrack. Has kind of a funny Yeti name. He is of course a Yeti. Has Pledge, and on summon you stun an enemy unit, on Renown you play a Snowfort. So this is actually interesting for like Skycrack aggro even, because getting turn 1 0-cost Seek power is really good, especially in addition to the 25 power you run, so you never screwed, but you don't have more power in your deck. Like if you have this like 2-power hand that really needs the 3rd power, or really needs like a turn 1 ready source to play that banner on 2 into a 2-drop and stuff, you can just play Chunk Chunk as a power, get the right 1-drop out, and curve out smoothly and have the 3rd power on turn 3 for your 3-cost stuff, which there's a lot in Skycrack. And then even if you draw more power, if you run merchants, like I don't know, and Rausch did in his top 4 list, you could just get rid of the power that you draw later and so on. And stunning an enemy unit the turn this comes in play is pretty strong. 4 attack is decent for a 4-drop with utility that virtually generates extra damage by stunning a blocker. And then you have the random upside of Renown, like you attack on turn 5, either you put a weapon on it before you attack and get the Snowfort, making your team more durable, or just attack on turn 5 and then have like a pummel, and then you can really blow them out because you suddenly have a fast Snowfort and a +2/+2, which is really sweet. So yeah, this guy looks pretty cool. Could make it into Skycrack aggro, and probably some other decks. We will have to see which ones those are. And in limited, of course, it's a pretty good card in the right deck. But it is a rare, so it's not that relevant. Okay, that's the new mechanic. Pretty interesting. We'll see how that plays, because playing spells and weapons on units is not something that you usually want to do too much in Constructed. So I'm not sure how well this is going to play. But especially Chunk Chunk seems to go very naturally into Skycrack aggro in Constructed as is. The rest really depends on potential new things coming with the new set, but don't really look like auto-includes on Constructed, especially not in existing decks right now. But yeah, that's it. I'll put the link to the article in the description for anyone that hasn't seen it yet. So make sure to check it out there if you want to read the whole thing. And of course, as usual, if you enjoy it, please hit the like button, subscribe to the channel, turn on the notification icon to not miss out on future content. And of course, you can also find me on social media over here and live streaming on Twitch. I'm currently not streaming a whole lot Eternal, because the game is kind of stale and there's not really any reason to play. The format is mostly solved. There's no tournament coming up, so once the new set drops, I'll be all over it again. I'll be streaming more again, and of course we will have the next ECQ being announced eventually and coming, and then there's also more reason to play again and test with the new set to figure out what's best in the new format, which is something that I'm excited about, because fresh new formats are always the coolest. These kind of solved, stale meta games right now are just boring. I am already in the ranked challenge for like top 100 in draft and ranked. So there's really no reason to play it. Finishing somewhere on ladder right now is just not worth anything, so I'd rather just play Artifact. So on that note, now you know what's up with me and Eternal and streaming. And yeah, one last thing, if you want to support me and EternalTitans.com, please consider whitelisting both EternalTitans.com and YouTube to help support the free content. That would be amazing. That's it again for today. This was the spoiler review of the Renown mechanics reveal. I'm your host Manu S. I thank you for watching, and I'll see you next time. Bye.